Hey everybody, it's Goblin and welcome back to the Edge of Eternities Arena Direct, where we are competing for a collector booster in best of one sealed. We need to win 7 games before only 2 losses in best of one sealed. So cross your fingers, hope to get real lucky. But without further ado, let's bust up these packs, see what we get to play with today. 6 rares, which is incredibly low in the play booster era, where there are multiple bonus sheets and you could open 2 regular rares in one pack. So that's a bummer. Not only that, if you're going to open only 6 rares, you really need them to be playable. Infinite Guideline Station and Entropic Battlecruiser completely unplayable in draft and sealed. Our other rares are decent though. The Sunset Saboteur is incredible at stationing things, and sometimes it can just get a million damage in before your opponent has enough blockers to stop it. There's also the Esteli Reclaimer, which has some great synergies for it. You need non-creature, non-land permanents in your graveyard, but if you have those, this can do some pretty gnarly things. If we open up a ton of artifacts, Pinnacle Emissary could be playable, but that's entirely dependent on what we opened, and then maybe go for a nice controlling deck with a board wipe like Singularity Rupture. Out of all of our sealed pools we've opened so far, the rares in this one are by far the worst, but we'll have to see what we've got in terms of synergy, in terms of commons and uncommons, what directions we can go. Usually, in almost every sealed format, I feel that it is the best to look at your colorless and multicolored stuff first, or it's what I like to do. That way I can see what kind of mana fixing I'll have access to see how splashy we're going to get in terms of trying to play all of our rares. That said, this set's a lot different on that front. There are no dual lands at common, they're only at rare and then off of the bonus sheet. And there's also very little colorless mana fixing, so as you can see, we have a single command bridge, and that's it for colorless fixing. The multicolored, though, does help show us any different signpost uncommons we have for different ways to build. We have a single green-black uncommon, and that's it. That means that if we do want to play like the Golgari Self-Mill strategy, we have something for that. But I think our rares that are 2-color are just much more valuable at that point. So let's just look at each color individually and see what we've got access to here. We have some decent removal out of white with 2 Focus Fires and a Radiant Strike. They're all a bit narrow. They only deal with attacking or blocking creatures or tapped creatures. So anything with a good passive ability we can't deal with. Any great enchantments we can't deal with. So not the best removal, but we have decent removal in white here. And some decent creatures throughout the curve, although we certainly need a secondary color with a lot of good support, because this is not enough creatures for an average deck. So we need our secondary color to have a ton of creatures, ideally. So white's fine. Pretty average, I think, overall. The one Reclaimer could be really good, but it depends on what's in our second color, because in our main color, it's not. There's a single auxiliary boosters that could maybe reanimate, but the auxiliary boosters itself does not end up in the graveyard very often at all. So, pretty awkward. Out of blue, Tractor Beam is excellent removal. Lost in Space is pretty decent. Unravel could be okay. The Cryogen Relic's great draw. The Self-Craft Mechans play really well with the Cryogen Relic. They also play really well with the Nutrient Block colorless card, which we actually have 2 of. So I actually like the blue quite a bit because of the Self-Craft Mechan combos with Relic and Double Food. And I think the removal is arguably a little bit better than the white because it's slightly more flexible. But it's about on par. There is one less removal spell here, even if Tractor Beam is absolutely fantastic. And then there's no like really powerful spells here that make it super good. There's just solid synergy with some artifact nonsense here in blue, which means if our red is good, blue-red could be the spot to be. We actually have a lot of artifacts for our blue-red rare that cares about artifacts. So that's interesting. What do we have in black? Lots of filler creatures. Every creature except Virus Beetle and Saboteur is filler, but obviously it's in the name, filler. We can fill our deck with that if we really want to play the color. The problem is if you cut out the filler, why are we playing the color? What are we excited about? 1 Saboteur? Not into the black. There's also 0 removal somehow. Red has one of the worst mana curves I've ever seen, but it does have 2 Plasma Bolts that we can recast off of Roving Actuator. Could actually maybe get the combo. There are no instants or sorceries in blue, though, so we'll have 2 cards in our entire deck that the actuator can recast, which means it's probably not worth running, although it is an artifact. I mean, when you add the blue in, the mana curve doesn't look as bad, but the red mana curve is absolutely awful. There are just no early creatures. The earliest is Moxite, which technically I could play as a creature on turn 3, but it would be a tapped 2/2 on turn 3 after spending 5 mana total. 2 on turn 2 and 3 on turn 3, so that really doesn't count as an early game creature, more like a late game card draw spell. It does have quite solid removal to play a more controlling deck: Double Bolt, Double Plunge, Cut Propulsion, and Bombard. Which is nice considering our black has literally no removal and none of our other colors had great removal, just decent removal. So red is still a very interesting support color for like a slower, grindier deck, but it doesn't actually look that good with our blue. The actuators aren't quite going to get there in that color pair. There's only one artifact that actually makes the cut at that point then, which means we have very little synergy for our blue-red rare. Out of the red, it's just what we get out of the blue, which is like 8. I mean, double nutrient block as well. It actually ends up being quite a few artifacts. It could still be decent. Could still be decent for sure. The triple kill ship as well we could play. Yeah, best removal in the sealed pool by far, and some decent top end to make up for the fact that there is no early game plays. What do we get out of green then? Big beefy creatures. No removal. It's just big beefy creatures and a combat trick, really. One naturalize, I guess. Yeah, I mean, 2 Crashers, 2 Germinating Worms, and Grove Strider. Beef is powerful in this set. If you're not playing against white or black, it's pretty hard for them to kill your gigantic late game creatures. Although at higher rarities, every color can deal with big creatures. You know, like Cut Propulsion out of red can kill something no matter how big it is. Tractor Beam out of blue can kill something no matter how big it is. It's just 100% all in on the beef if we do that, which seems fine. But there's also 0 ramp. Not a single lander token was opened that day. I lied. It's just that I was looking at the deck and not the the sideboard. I'm dumb. But basically no ramp. This is multiple incredibly narrow ways to get a lander token. If we're on the draw and playing white to where our opponent plays land 3 on their turn 3, then we untap, play this, then play our 3rd land, we get a lander. The Scout Lander is just ramp in general, so that counts, even though it doesn't actually make a lander token, but yeah, it's basically just orbital plunges for somewhat consistent lander token production. So the fixing's quite bad. There's only 1 command bridge, no duels. We are not good at ramping into 7 drops. We're not good at fixing for a splash. I think our black is pretty horrible, so I don't think we get to Singularity Rupture. I guess I'm just going Pinnacle Emissary Synergy nonsense? It's that or just green stuff. Just play green-red for green beef and red removal, because red is our best removal color. I feel like our green-red mana curve would be awful, though. I mean, it's pretty bad, but it gives us some extra ramp to make up for it. We have Scout Lander, and we actually have Gene Pollinator, too. Then I have 5,000 things to do at 5 mana. Cut Skywarden, then? 5 cuts, so 1, 2, 3. 2 non-creature spells. These Melt Strider gear are really bad. And I'm still running, like, a Systems Override. Although we play some colorless spells, right? Play like a 1-of Kill Ship or something? I mean, our deck's going to be mid either way. We could play like a mid red-green deck. I'd rather just have fun and play the mid artifacts deck at this point. I don't think this sealed pool is going to manage a 7-win run no matter how we build it. So I'm just going to build my deck that I would have the most fun playing. And that would be blue-red artifact shenanigans. So let's do it. I'm not trying to select my card sleeve. I'm trying to select red. There we go. All right, so here's all of our blue and red cards together and all of our colorless. We definitely can't play triple kill ship. Actuator has very little synergies. Annul is not main deckable. Unravel is pretty bad. Systems Override, we're not aggressive enough, and Scour for Scrap is really slow. 4 mana, draw 2 artifacts. Technically, we have the synergy in this deck that we could get 2 cards off of it. So, you know, it's a late game tutor out our Pinnacle Emissary and pick up our Nanoform Sentinel or something from Grave. But that's still a 4 mana draw 2, even if it's drawing 2 good cards. Which is quite slow. Without any ramp, I mean, I've got 2 Orbital Plunge, but that's about it. I don't really think I can play like 1 kill ship, honestly. Let alone 2. I've got tons of removal here. Lost in Space, probably one of the weaker ones when I have all this other stuff I have access to. I don't know if I have enough threats to run Light Jammer. I do like that it's another artifact at least. Maybe cut the 7-drop Nebula Dragon, again without the ramp. Maybe Virulent Slicer. Sorry, Virulent Silencer. Sky Warden for being beef, but that just means we're so low on creatures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, because the Moxite sort of. I mean, I am only cutting 3 of these cards, so I could cut Lost in Space, 7-drop and a 5-drop. Ew. Is this truly going to be the most fun I'm going to have? I don't know. Feels like a bad seal pool. This does not actually look that great. I mean, tons of removal. We are playing the controlling role. Blow up all their creatures and try to chip in with random little artifact dorks. That is something. Mechan is great with the Emissary. Great with Nutrient Block, Cryogen Rock. It's a really good self-craft Mechan deck, if nothing else. I'm going to save that. But I actually genuinely think this is probably worse than just like a rareless black-green pile of beefy creatures, or green-red maybe. The fact that if I play green-black I have literally no removal is so bad. Because this is sealed where everyone has a minimum of 6 rares, so if they play a single bomber, I just lose. If I play green-black, because I just don't have any way to deal with it, maybe green-white is more reasonable than green-red then, because we get a little more interaction in this direction. Radiant Strike, double focus fire. Or maybe this is better than green-black, sorry. Still not much for the Reclaimer. It's just a 4/5 flyer, really, not quite rare-worthy. I mean, I think green-red would just be better than that at that point. The curve is not great. Curve is not great, but I think the green plays well with what the red is doing, which is just playing a bunch of cheap removal and a tiny bit of ramp. So just play a bunch of cheap removal and then play some random dirtily beefy green creatures. Like, if I had a single good rare to, like, ramp into, and I think this would almost definitely be the best deck. But without anything good to, like, play in the late game, I'm just, like, trying to get there with 5 mana 5/5s and 4 mana 4/4s, which is doable, but not really for 7 wins in a row. Still think I don't have enough ramp to want to play the kill ship. Or enough fixing to want to splash anything in. Play nutrient blocks for filler if I have more than 5 cards I really want to cut here. If I go actuators, what if I play the Systems Override and just really try to get lucky and cheese people out? It's a deck. I'm so disappointed that I think this is almost definitely like just better than the blue-red deck. That's so dumb because it's not very good either. But I think it has a better plan. It has better ways to actually win the game. The blue-red deck has access to all the removal still, so it's going to do that, and then, but it just plays the most mediocre creatures imaginable. If it doesn't draw the rare. Alright, I'm not very happy, but I don't think the blue-red deck actually looks that insanely fun here to make it worth playing the worst deck. I'm just going to go Green-red, kill all the early stuff and play some random beef and hope it's big enough. You gotta do what you gotta do in Sealed, and this is kind of all we got. So, call it a deck here, hop into the gameplay. Hope to maybe get some gems back this time around. Well, without opening well this time, we need everything to go well in terms of drawing well and playing well here. We are not drawing well to start it off. We're going to have to mulligan this. Huge gamble on drawing a forest, because otherwise I play one removal spell and then sit here. 7 dropping the opener 2, which is not when you want that. I got 2 removal spells this time. Alright, Arena. You do what you gotta do, and I will do my best to fight you. Blue-black from our opponent. They start with the Emissary Escort, which is really scary with other artifacts on the board. Becomes a 3-4 or 4-4 really quickly. Full Grixis naturally turn 3 from our opponent, all 3 of their colors. They're playing more. Oh my god. Emissary, Escort, and Monolith. So they draw an extra card every turn, and now they have just a 2-mana 3-4 out there. And if I block it, they draw another 2. I'm going to have to somehow outrace them in life total here, since they do lose a life every turn they draw off of Monolith. And I have the Systems Overwrite and the Plasma Bolts to bolt my opponent for 3 apiece on a Void turn. Well, there's another rare card, Dry Engine. If they somehow ever run out of stuff to do, they can draw a card every turn they have a power 4 or greater creature on the board. Opponent goes blue source, black source, red source, colorless source. Here comes the mirror pool. Draw a card off of Alpha Rail this time. And then play Automaton, Torpedo, and pass the turn. Germinating Worm was a pretty bad draw here. Would have really preferred land 5. Can Systems override their Monolith and Plasma Bolt my own creature, which is really funny, but they still just get the Monolith back. Just kill Alpha Rail here with a Plasma Bolt. It's not the most exciting turn, but it's fine. Sure. Could sack my Robot and Plasma Bolt to kill the 3-4. That wouldn't be crazy, but all they need to do is play anything other than a 1 toughness card to get Monolith still drawing them cards next turn. And they're already in a position where they really want to play another creature if they have one in hand. I mean, so far we are doing the thing. They've taken a lot of Monolith damage and now a bit of Crasher damage. They're at 11. Playing this out the only way that we might have a chance. Oops, Systems Override and Bolt you. It's a Terror Pact Intimidator. Plasma Bolt that with the Void. I think I have to give them the Landers though, so they can't just kill Crasher with a single block. They're drawing so many cards off Monolith, I feel like they'll have enough just lands to play naturally each turn. I feel like the lander tokens aren't that good for our opponent. Whoa, send it in. Give me a 16. Oh, because gunship kills the crasher. Now I have no threats unless I hit land 5. If I don't have much of a chance. Well, there we go. Here's a 5/5 to try to get damage in, maybe. Alright, I just trade Intimidator off to stop the damage. Here's my 5/5. The literal rare synergy. Our opponent has played 4 rares against us so far. Enclave, Monolith, Gunship, Escort. This would be a really fun game to win. If we could genuinely just scrap all the way into victory. Hit them for 4 in the sky with the gunship. Still doesn't kill them. If I override the Grav Blade Heavy, they chump 1 and take 3? Yeah, I guess Heavy's a 3/4, so they could just block their Heavy with their Escort. And take 5, be at 5, and I would only have a Plasma Bolt left, so there'd be like no turning the game around from there. I kind of think I have to Engineering and play a land, but now Torpedo's active to just kill my worm. I can't describe to you how annoying that is. Card is technically it has some targets, but it is narrow enough that it is a below average win rate card by a good chunk. Well, we're dead. Draw 7 drop for Salt in the Wound. Yep, super dead. I can hit them for 6, which is far from lethal. Take a gunship, smack them with that, and plasma bolt them for another 2. Alright, I mean, we just got out sealed pooled quite a lot there. That is going to be 0-1 heading into game 2. Man, we draw 1 lander here. 2 for 2 on the Forced Moles, and then this is a really bad opener. A combat trip without a creature and then nothing till turn 4, at which point I get 1 removal spell. Like, our deck has a really reasonable creature to non-creature count. Playing the green-red deck instead, we have the 15-17 creatures. Let's see, the land count is good too between the 2 colors. It's like a 9-8 split. Alright, what are you gonna do? Some days, Arena just chooses the outcome. Could mold a 5, but this deck is never winning down 2 cards. So I'm just going to keep the 6 and hope to draw perfectly. We are not doing great so far, but at least we're not under much pressure. Kill the Monoist, they just get another 2/2 anyway. Let's plunge the Death Toucher. If I get the Worm down, it actually can get some swings in. And if I Mock Sight now and hit like 2 non-land cards, that could actually be awkward. So I think I just want a Worm next turn. Gross. So Mock Sight, ditch the forest, get a 2/2 could be our play next turn, or if we draw anything better for 3 or less, we'll play that instead of the 2/2. And we're already down cards from the mulligan, and now the Virus Beetle comes in and pours some salt in the wound. Not great stuff here. They also have the Embrace Oblivion to kill the worm. Down to 17. Mock Sight, and if I hit a land in the top 2, I still play the Crasher. If I don't hit a land in the top 2, we're very likely to have drawn something for 3 or less to play instead. Draw 2 lands in the top 2. I guess even if I hit like a 5 and a 7 off the draws there, I could just make the 2/2 off the Mock Sight for the play for turn. Vanishing Light for the Crasher. As well, Dubious Delicacy, the 2/2. Getting severely outclassed by card quality in our sealed pool again. And our draws are awful. I'm good there. No sequence of draws is particularly likely to swap the outcome. And certainly getting an incredibly lucky sequence of draws to win this game and then win 6 more in a row is never happening. So I'm just going to move on to the next event and save some time today on this recording. Yeah, this was brutal. In these kinds of really high-stakes events, especially the high-variance ones like this, a lot has to go in your favor. You have to open well, you have to play well, you have to draw well. We opened really poorly and drew just as badly, and that's all it takes to kick you out. Only one of those 3 things going wrong can get you out of the event really easily when you only have 2 losses of breathing room. So having 2 of the 3 be absolutely miserable, and arguably the third, we didn't have much in terms of gameplay decisions today, but we did have mulligan decisions, and maybe I was supposed to mull to 5 both games. That's the only decision that I could have had that could have changed. So maybe the mulligan decisions were wrong too, in which case we opened poorly, we drew poorly, and we played poorly, if you disagree with those mulligan decisions. So just an awful run altogether, but even played perfectly. If you open a pretty mediocre sealed pool and you draw even worse, you're not going to win anything. So that is just part of Magic. It is a game of luck and skill, and at times that luck is going to take any shot you had from you and just pull you out of the event. Rough stuff, but we got a great record last time, so still plenty of gems to hop into another run tomorrow. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you're interested in seeing some more, you can like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send some more in the recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. And if you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.